Alright parents, nothing pulls at your heartstrings quite like watching your little one fall behind with their development. Constantly wondering and constantly worrying what's really going on with that little brain and nervous system that is slowing things down or maybe even stopping development altogether. Parents whose children are struggling with a developmental delay, this video is exactly for you, and most especially for those parents who feel like they're doing everything right with taking their child to all the developmental therapies, but are still not seeing progress, or maybe that progress has plateaued. So if your child has been doing PT, OT, speech therapy, but has plateaued, or is not progressing as quickly as you'd like, listen in, you'll learn from this, and you'll like this. I'm going to discuss and you'll learn the number one thing that is holding back development for so many children, but yet no one is really talking about it, as well as what caused and triggered the delay in the first place, how to find it, and how we get to the root cause and address things head on so that your child's development can get back on track and they can reach their full potential once again. Let's start with a story about Nolan from one of our favorite offices and mentors, Premier Wellness Chiropractic in Crystal Lake, Illinois. They lead the charge when it comes to pediatric, neurologically focused chiropractic. Mom of Nolan says we brought Nolan in at age 2.5. which was right after he was diagnosed with autism. He was struggling a lot with gross motor skills, nonverbal speech, sensory, and even motor planning. He even had difficulty with walking due to the low muscle tone and had to stim quite often. So Nolan had been in early intervention since 9 months old, but we felt like he was stuck and had plateaued in progress. So they were doing PT, OT, speech therapy, those types of things. Thankfully, friends of ours and Nolan's occupational therapist both sent us information on the Perfect Storm workshop, which you've seen us deliver right here in the office. My husband and I attended and signed Nolan up to start the process right away. We've been going to our PX Docs chiropractic office for about 1.5 years now, and this is truly one of Nolan's happy places. He loves coming. To see his body and mind literally calm down during and after his adjustments just melts our heart. This is still mom talking. Nolan has not only learned how to walk, but can run. He is improving his speech skills, putting 2 words together, and is even learning strategies to help regulate his body. The world, and mom's quote, "The world can be so quick to tell us what our children can't and won't be able to do, but with chiropractic care and amazing mamas like Nolan's, we get to see potential, possibilities, and progress every day in our office." Way to go, Nolan. Love telling that story. So, developmental delays. This refers to a significant lag in a child's milestones compared to their peers, and can even encompass various aspects of development, including cognitive development, social, emotional development, speech and language development, and even motor skill development. And the 2 most common concerns parents are most likely to notice in their child are a delay in either their walking or their speech and communication. While development delays can show up in all these various ways, the one to really laser in on is the neurological and the motor function, since those serve as the key and the catalyst to all other brain and neurological development. So as neurologically focused pediatric chiropractors, this is where our expertise and our experience really comes into play, finding the real root cause of a child's motor tone, their coordination, and their developmental problems. And all too often, the original trigger and cause of these developmental delays and motor tone problems comes not just from the muscles themselves that get worked on by PTs and OTs and speech therapists, but from the system that actually controls the muscle line coordination, the autonomic or the central nervous system. And the number one cause of problems with neuromotor connection, coordination, and development actually comes from the one thing not nearly enough providers and professionals are talking about. You've heard me preach this many times, but it's birth interventions and trauma. And when birth includes things like forceps, vacuum, inductions, C-sections, there's a ton of physical strain, trauma, and often injury placed on the extremely sensitive and delicate areas of the cerebellum, the brainstem, and then the upper neck. And this is where all the neuromotor function and development is controlled and coordinated from. Now you can see the connection. An injury, or what we term chiropractic speak for subluxation, in this delicate and wildly important area can set off a cascade of developmental challenges and delays that we call the perfect storm. Exactly what we talk about in our perfect storm workshop. This can alter their sleep, their digestion, their head and neck control, crawling, walking, and all other aspects of neurological development over time. Therefore, finding out if this subluxation or dysfunction exists in the vital brainstem and upper neck region is the #1 missing action step with or for parents with these kids of developmental delays. Because neither traditional pediatricians or therapists have any way of assessing and examining its function or its health. Only pediatric chiropractors like us here at Foundations, myself and Dr. Sam, have that level of understanding, training, and most importantly, technology to truly measure brainstem and neurological function. Getting the central and autonomic nervous system back in balance and back on track developmentally is the #1 action step millions of parents deserve to know about and have access to. So if you suspect that your child may have this tension, this subluxation, this dysfunction in their brainstem area that controls all that neurological development and that neurological function, then make sure to check us out and check the links out below provided to read more about developmental delays. Also, if you have any questions, simply comment, DM us below. We're quick to get back to you. Give us a phone call, whatever it is. And lastly, if you know already that you're ready to get your child checked for these developmental delays, checked or get their nervous system checked for subluxation, for that stress stuck in the on position that we talk about, get them in right away so we can do our scans, we can see what needs to be done, and we can start to help. Thanks.